have to shovel it, don't shovel it. Yeah. Whatever my homeowner is.
Exactly. Drive something that could drive over top of it, your driveway is flat.
All right, this is the appointed time for our March 20th, 2018 Aleppo Legislative Meeting. I call this meeting to order. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's take a roll call, please.
President Dover?
Present.
Vice President Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Williams?
Present.
Solicitor Lovato?
All right, so notwithstanding our low numbers, I do note that we have a quorum. Before we go any further, let me also, notwithstanding the note of the small numbers in the audience, let me make an announcement that this meeting, like all Aleppo Township meetings, is being recorded and streamed live onto YouTube. So that has two implications. Number one, it means that people may be watching at home at any time without further notice. Right now, there's nobody tuned in, but they may tune in at any point during the meeting. And as I said, there would be no further notice about that. So people may be watching even as we speak. Number one. Number two, once we go home, this meeting will be posted directly to YouTube and it'll stay there in perpetuity. So taking that all together, that means watch what you say because you can't take it back, and everything that you say goes out there into the world. All right, so with those admonitions out of the way, I will entertain a motion to approve the workshop meeting minutes of March 12th, 2018.
I move to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting of March 12th, 2018. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we turn to reports. And number one on our list is fire company. And I see our chief sitting here. So I assume that means there's a report.
Right.
All right. Lay it on us.
Passing out a call list for 2017, which all the fire calls that the fire company had. So through real quick. Call number one is the call number issued by Aleppo County. Right beside the number denotes whether it's an Aleppo call, it's called. Location of the call and then nature of the call. Nature of the call is basically if we wonder what we're dispatched for. Sometimes when we get to a certain call, what we're dispatched for and the actions taken are basically different things. Get called out for residential structure fire, it's nothing more than.
Chief, just do me a favor, come up here so you're on this microphone right here. Thanks.
They'll call a residential structure fire when we get there and it's hard food. Smoke alarms go off, people panic, they say the house is on fire. Meanwhile, they're cooking something in the oven, forget about it. If there's anything that jumps out at anybody and they want more of a scripted answer, then I can do that. But getting back, going to the very last page, Last page tells exactly how many calls we had. We ran 151 calls for 2017, 65 in Sookby Heights and 86 in Aleppo. Below that is a table which includes, I get this off of the NFPA standard is on their reporting system. It shows kind of the calls get broken down into what categories: residential structure fires, commercial fire alarms, commercial structure fires. We've also added a couple of vehicle accidents, tree down. Usually, typically, tree down is tree across the road with no wires and wall to worry about cut up and just open the roadway up. Typically, we do that after hours when the road department's not on duty. If you go back in the call list, you'll see there's a lot of calls that you might have 7, 8 calls at one night. That's typically a storm event. That's where we get a lot of the trees down. You can see it kind of goes in with this Sookby Heights area as well. Their calls for tree removal is way up from previous years. Tree removal with live wires, typically we get on scene if there's a live wire on the ground. We don't do anything with it until UK comes and secures the scene. They secure the power, and then if we're still on scene, we'll remove the tree just for those guys to be able to keep the power back up. The only thing on this list, if you go down and says assist other agencies, I put all of, when we go out of town to mutual aid companies, I always put that under Aleppo. I'll put that under the Sookby Heights call list. We responded to 16 other fires in surrounding areas.
The commercial fire alarms, 31.
All in the song.
Pardon me?
All in the song.
Yeah, so that's my parents cooking something.
You know, years ago we had an issue with false alarms, bad detectors. We don't classify a burnt food alarm as a false alarm because a lot of times if you look on this list, if it is burnt food, sometimes we have to ventilate the building, ventilate the structure, and that's an action taken. We document that, so we don't really treat those as a false alarm. Mm-hmm. There's quite a bit of calls where you can see we got an incident number 4. We've been dispatched. Some of the calls we don't respond to. We have a direct line with Masonic Security. They call me and say, "Hey, we have burnt food, no ventilation required. Homeowners are, the residents are fine. They request to cancel, so we don't respond." We leave that up to security. I mean, they're on scene, they're on the site, they know better. Obviously, if they get there and there's a smoke condition, tell us roll in.
Is Sookby Heights bearing their fair share of the financial burden?
Well, we're under contract, just like we are on lot.
So you get paid by call?
No,
by contract.
Yeah, by contract. I'm sorry.
Is the contract satisfactory?
We believe so. It's both contracts are kind of when we did them were structured the same. It was basically price per resident. It almost equates to the price per standing structure too, pretty close.
Okay.
So and their contract is structured exactly like Aleppo. There's a 2% increase per year. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't do the financial end of the fire company. That's so I'm just waiting for ours.
I mean, actually, their ratio is down a little bit this year. 15 was more calls than Aleppo. This year is less. I just wondered.
Yeah, if and it's the big 2 calls we respond in the Heights is residential fire alarms because they only have really one building, commercial, and the trees though.
Yeah.
On Aleppo's side, it's typically commercial, very few residential. But we do a lot of, if you consider the vehicle accidents, we respond a lot to those.
Yep.
So, I mean, just for the sake of the record here, the document the chief has given us, I don't know, the first 4 pages, I mean, they list specific addresses, and I think that I don't know that circulating those addresses is necessary. But my question would be the last page, it's a summary of the sheet. Do you have any objection to me circulating that document around to the township, this part?
No, not at all.
Okay. When will you ask Kim that when she sends me the draft, I just make sure this is an attachment as well, please?
That's all, like in the description and of it, we don't put a lot of information. Some of it is pertains to certain individuals.
Sure.
It's just a fire alarm. You know, basically, what was the cause of it? Can't
Right.
go too much. This last page has turned out, I'd like to try to come every quarter. So this would basically be the call list for the first quarter, first 3 months. I use the same format to kind of already have it on the computer, other than doing a completely different thing. I could just now add these calls to the list. And going through this, I mean, if you guys have any suggestions that you want to see differently done with the report, tell me. We'll try to accommodate.
This is pretty clear.
There's a couple calls on here that aren't, I'm up to 21 calls right now. The last two I didn't have them up put on.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
One thing, our open house will be March, it's March, not March.
This is Mark.
I'll get back to it. Yeah, I'll let you know. I think it's May 12th, I believe, it's Saturday.
Good.
So you guys will see the signs, we'll put the signs up a week in advance and see as many people as we can get there. It's a good time.
Yeah, because we'd like to put that on the web and announce it at a meeting.
You think it's May 12th?
I believe it is. Yeah, May 12th, second Saturday.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much.
If anybody goes through this list and they want more detail, we can give me a call.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Next is public safety / police.
Thank you for explaining that. I would have sit there all night, you know. Okay, we had 31 calls for the month of February. 2 were alarms, motor vehicle theft / driveway, fraud report, some township ordinance pertaining to abandoned vehicles, found property, fire calls, hazardous condition not snow related, called the road department at 6 different times, assisted the ambulance on 8 occasions, responded with a gas leak, had 1 report of a police notification, and assisted the other department, checked welfare 1 time, and issued 5 citations.
Any questions?
Were you given a report about a home on Merriman just before the intersection?
Pertaining to someone's suspicious car there?
Abandoned cars and,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, they, part of it unfortunately is in Swickley Heights.
Okay.
So, the pull-off area is Swickley Heights, not our jurisdiction. I have reached out to them they're looking into that part of it. I spoke with Chief Harrison. And the car that's at the top, I have, my abandoned vehicle officer, Hartzell. He's looking into the red vehicle, which is got 2 flat tires, and I think the inspection was like out in October of last year. So I have him looking into those to take care of that.
So it's in process.
It is in the process. The vehicle's unfortunately down there that I can only do what I can do on our
I
side.
understand.
So I talked to them and hopefully he'll look into it. He's got some complaints too, I guess, but we have looked into it.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you. Emergency management. I hear no report. Public Works.
Public Works report, they patch potholes on Swickley Heights Drive and Swickley Ridge Circle, clean off catch basins on township roads after heavy rains, cut down dead trees on Deer Run near the road. There were some dead trees down lower that were too close to the wires. Install new faucets in the bathrooms in the township buildings, clean up tree limbs and fallen trees on township roads from high winds, plow and salt roads, and remove the dump bed from truck 58 in preparation for the new bed.
Who covers, in this subject, who covers this street, well, what we think of as Merriman, but it's actually streets?
School Street? Where Merriman turns into School Street?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 trees that are leaning over the road like this,
Okay.
okay? It appears as though someone went up at some time and cut all the limbs off. probably try to introduce it. But it's up on a very steep hillside and the tree's leaning this way. And I don't know what the hell's holding it up, quite frankly, but rather than wait for a surprise.
So go look at it.
Okay, anybody else?
Yes. On Monday, Commissioner Duplaga, myself, 2 engineers from HRG, Tom Jarvie, the head of our public works, and Bob Merriman from Swickley Heights Manor, walked Swickley Heights Drive in preparation for the specifications for a bid document to go out. It's a high priority road for this year. There should be drawings that show changes to some of the islands for better traffic patterns, and it will be available hopefully by April 2nd, both here in the township building and at the manor office. Any comments that anyone has on that preliminary design need to come in quickly because we need to put this out for bid by April 15th.
I mean, I guess nothing. My question is, when can those drawings be ready?
April 2nd.
That's as soon as they can be ready.
Yeah. Well, that's what I asked the engineers to do, perhaps a little sooner.
Are we going to require the core drills before we put out the bids or not? Are we going to?
Oh, I'm sorry. The core drillings were analyzed and those results came in Friday. So they are available, and it denotes that there will be a complete reconstruct of the Heights Drive, not a top dress. I mean, just for historic information, the road did not last as long as it should have. Yeah. It's a very expensive road. And quite frankly, I think that part of the problem there was that 10 years ago, the township wasn't in a financial position to do roads as well as they are today. So this time, this one will be done, hopefully with the 15, 20-year life that it should have.
Okay.
Correct, Manager Patterson?
Correct.
Thanks.
Anybody else on Public Works? Once, twice, gone. Communications, I have one email to read. It's from Carolyn Smith. Dear Matt, thank you again for sending information from the meeting. I have been unable to attend the meetings due to other board meetings and prior commitments. First of all, excuse me, I'm very satisfied that the Masonic home has taken the idea of homes for children off the table. It is an idea that was never brought up in all the discussion of planning years ago. You were not part of the commissioners, and residents were extremely involved, and we worked out with Masonic what would work for the residents if the plan was approved. The daycare of children was an open quote add-on, end quote. It was never discussed and just seemed to happen. In the beginning of the daycare, they told us that it was a daycare for the workers who had small children. It turned into, without our knowledge, a daycare for not only our community, but for people outside our community. There were brochures placed throughout Pittsburgh that neighbors found. My point here is that the residents want to keep their community as it is, but allow the Masonic to commit to the conditional use that was granted them through the township years ago. The plan for villas is in keeping with that granting, but there is a lot more to look at when building the villas, which are now placed smack in the middle of the residential community. Unfortunately, we do not have all the paperwork of agreements and conditions that we agreed upon with Masonic. I would urge you and the board to explore this. There are setbacks. There are things that we all agreed to do so that any resident would maintain privacy. Things such as trees, lighting, and lots of plantings. All the plans should coordinate with the original plans. I do not believe the emergency road on the plan is needed and should not be granted. It will eventually be used as time goes by as a driveway out of Masonic homes, which was never intended. This would add to use on Redgate Road. As you know, Red Gate Road is a very dangerous road. Matt, please make the board and planning commission aware of all the agreements that were made for the condition when granted years ago. Thank you very much, Carolyn Smith.
Do you know what year that, or timeframe, all those things were negotiated?
Late 90s, early 2000s,
Okay. Retrievable?
should be.
Okay, that's all for my communications, planning and zoning.
You will have before you next month the Masonic expansion. You'll have 3 applications in front of you next month on the 16th. You'll have the land development application where they've been seeking permission to build the villas. You'll have a subdivision lot consolidation plan where they want to take the 2 Yankella properties and consolidate them into their main campus. And then you'll have the conditional use approval, which will have a hearing with the court reporter that seeks to expand their use to allow the other 2 applications. So that will all be, the conditional use hearing will be at 7 o'clock on April 16th before the regular meeting, and that'll be here. So that'll be your opportunity to hear and then possibly vote if you're prepared.
Are the documents from now approximately 20 years ago voluminous?
I don't think, not if it's the developer's agreement, so it's not a book. I should be able to, I'm gonna look. I'll find it.
I would like to see that,
Sure, yes, I will
please.
try to find everything, definitely in enough time for you to read them and process them.
Good.
Okay.
Also just conditions in the ordinance specifically for Masonic type of use too.
Okay, good.
All right, anything else on planning and zoning? Tax collector, treasurer.
Clayton is traveling and was not able to get us the reports, so you'll have double reports next month.
Okay. Under finance, there are 2 motions that I will entertain.
I move to approve the February bill list in the amount of $42,294.70, to ratify the February prepaid bills in the amount of $34,551.65, and to ratify February payroll transfers in the amount of $18,107.13.
So move. Seconded.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Motion.
You want the next one? All right. I move to transfer the following amounts for the payment of road salt invoices: $11,705.20 in the liquid fuels fund, general fund, and $9,679.13 from the liquid fuels fund to the general fund.
Seconded.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Anything else with finance? Aleppo Township Authority.
The only thing that I can report is that we still do not have agreement with Culligan on the permit. I think that David still has some research to do on what was pointed out in the meeting. One that they don't feel is necessary for this particular site. So I will put a call in David and ask him how his research is going. And other than that, that's the only thing.
All right. Thank you. Wicker Valley COG, I have no report. Do you have any report we did there last month? Okay. Do you have anything to report? Ambulance Authority? MS4. I don't want to see, come on.
We got the waiver. So
What?
we got the waiver. So we have
What?
a 5-year exemption from the requirements for.
Restate the
MS4.
waiver again?
The waiver is an exemption from the requirements to be documenting and doing all the stuff that we're supposed to be doing for MS4. Doesn't mean you should pour oil in your catch basins. It just means we don't have to. It just means that the paperwork side of it is not as cumbersome is what it means.
Good job to you and our engineers.
I
Yeah.
go to give that all
Yeah.
back. Like, you know, he got it, so.
You always help.
So guess what, Gwen? MS4 can come off the agenda.
Okay. I'm excited to see it go.
I'm gonna miss that.
I'm gonna miss it.
All right, solicitor. Excellent. Old business. All right.
I move to adopt the social media policy as amended.
Oh, no, that motion's already been made.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's good. So the motion was made last week. It was made and seconded. It was deferred for 1 week to allow for citizen participation. There's been no citizen participation. Is there any further discussion with respect to the motion to adopt the social media policy as amended? Hearing none. We're going to vote on this. We're going to vote on the main motion of adopting the policy. Does everybody understand what we're voting on? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Thank you. All right, then next we turn to a motion to approve HRG's proposal for the 2018 road paving program. Once again, this motion was made last week, it was seconded, and it was deferred for 1 week to allow for public participation. We received no public participation with respect to that. So, understanding that, is there any further discussion on this motion? All right, hearing none, we're going to vote. The vote that we're about to take is on the main motion to approve the proposal. Does everybody understand that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Next, we're going to go to a motion to authorize the drafting of an amendment to section 232-2 of our township ordinance to increase the cost for a license to operate a junk dealer or a storage lot $1,500 annually. This motion was made at the workshop meeting last week, and then it was deferred for 1 week to allow for public participation. We've received no public participation, so I ask if there's any further discussion with respect to this motion.
How many of these licenses are currently in place?
None.
Zero, right?
Zero.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we're going to vote on the main motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Excellent. Anybody else have any other business? Turning them into new business. Does anybody have any new business? I do. Gwen and I have been talking for a long time about the website. So let me just give you a brief rundown here. Gwen and I started meeting to discuss the website on August 3rd, 2017. You believe that, Gwen? It's been a long time. We've had at least 15 meetings where we've worked on this. And we've been working with Sarah Chambers from what was formerly Mibs and is now GovUnity Websites. And I have to say, I'm really very proud and delighted with what we have. I've printed it out for you here, and I'll tell you exactly why. Our goal is to have this is on our goals list for the township, is to have this website be live by March 31st. You know, I'm going to make a motion when I finish with this. I'm going to make a motion to allow us to put this live. And I realize that that breaks with our typical convention of making motions at the workshop meeting and then voting on it at the legislative meeting. But the reason that we generally do that is because we want to have public participation in these. And it doesn't really make any sense to have public participation in this if nobody can see. It doesn't make a lot of sense to not have a, I mean, you have to say to people, you have to come get a hard copy of it. So basically, in order to have the public participation, it needs to be live. So here's my suggestion. the motion that I'm going to make is motion to approve publishing of website live on 31 March 2018. So once we make this motion tonight, I'll make the motion tonight, and hopefully we'll vote on tonight. And then what I'll say to you is, between now and March 31st, we won't put it live. You go through this. You have any thoughts about this? Let me know. So if you see something here, whether it's a typo, or you see something that needs to be changed, let me know. March 31st. Why do you look confused?
No, I don't look confused. I think part of the component of any web page is ease of use. So during the time period now, there's not first to be live. And I can use it. In other words, I can analyze its effectiveness by using it.
The problem is that I can't make it live. I can't make it live for you and not live for everyone.
Why would live for everyone?
That's fine. I wanted you to have a chance to look at it before.
What I'm saying is, it's very good.
Make it live for everyone. Put across the front page. Statement being reviewed by.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, this may be a little bit of a moot point, because what I've handed to you tonight is not quite. We have a couple more internal meetings that we have to have. In fact, one of the very important things that you're note on here, emergency management. We're meeting with Judy, management coordinator.
Yeah.
So again, I certainly think that it's worth. I handed a copy of it because I think it's worth. I think it's sure the council goes through it and doesn't have any glaring objections. I don't will, but I'd like to have you look through it. And just I just like an opportunity before it goes hammered out there for the folks to look at it. I will specifically point to. Let's see here. And what I'll do once it does go live, we'll send an email out that focuses only on the website, and we'll highlight a couple pages that I think are of particular importance. But I might draw your attention to the roads page. You might want to take a look at the roads page. I don't know, Council, you might want to look at the local laws page just to make sure nothing's said inappropriately. So you understand what's going on here. Obviously, this is the home page, right? And then all the pages behind this page are what these buttons are.
Yeah.
Until you get to this page, which has got this menu going down the left side. That menu. And I know this is exactly why you want to look at it online.
Yeah.
That menu is this menu up here. So when you click on this menu up here, you'll get this menu that's going down the left side.
Okay.
Right? So there are just a few extra pages in the menu that are not on this page.
Do you have the same kind of a reciprocal button on the other page?
This menu, this is in the header. It'll be on every page.
On every page. Well,
So I'm just driving at.
All right, we just got a notice that there's feedback in the sound. I don't remember if you remember what that was last time. Or something.
Hopefully that'll fix it. Whoever just talked, I came to you. Whoever just talked to Chief, send him back a message and tell him if it just got better, please.
Yeah, and I was going to suggest, I think it is good. I'll look at roads, things that are specific to my responsibilities. Gwen and perhaps Bill should look at fire, and Tom should look at public works.
Sure, absolutely.
Which is really good.
The one I really wanted to drive, I am driving at, the one I really wanted to get you to is parking rules, which is new, that is kind of, I mean, this is sort of a matter of policy that's never been addressed before. So
Okay.
we think you should take a look at that. Stormwater education has been changed markedly since we got our MS4 waiver, but you should take a look at that. Finance, which is the one that has the little budget graph on here. Good. Okay, so again, what we'll do is let me know if you have any comments. I don't think you will, but if you do have any comments, let me know. And otherwise, the plan will be to put it live on or about March 31st, 2018. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right, so my motion is then to approve the publishing of the website live on March 31st, 2018.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
The sound is fixed.
Any opposed say no. All right, that motion carries. Thank you. Any other new business?
Yeah, this looks really good.
Thanks. That's really, a lot of that credit goes to Gwen. She spent a lot of time sitting in that chair, sitting through these meetings to make that happen. So really, thanks to Gwen for a yeoman's effort on that. Any other new business? Citizen participation? Yes, sir.
I'm here to participate. I just want to emphasize again the traffic issues on Weber Road. Now that the weather's getting to be spring, kids are back out, the bicycles, the scooters. We've got our orange cones and our signs up, but it's time to reinforce. The chief has worked with us like in the fall. The chief worked with us to get patrols watching the traffic. And there's some people really fun. And it's usually a handful of people I'm sure you know. But I just want to reemphasize it, and I'll keep reemphasizing it because we got to slow these people down.
Well, I mean, every time you come in here, I'm going to ask you the same question. Is there something in particular you want us to do?
I don't know. I talked to a cousin of mine who's a police officer, and frankly, he wasn't much help either.
Yeah.
There's only, I know they're limited, until they get their radar things. I understand they're limited. The only thing we can ask for this is police presence to slow people down. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just know I watch these kids. Some of them are as young as 5, and cars just come flying. I see the brake lights going on. It just scares me to death. I don't know what to do other than police presence. I guess I'll keep asking for that. And like I said, the chief was really cooperative with us in the fall.
Where exactly are you seeing it?
On Weber Road.
I know we're
The top of Weber Road. You go up the hill.
Because we've had an officer sit there and he's not getting anywhere multiple times. I mean, we sent him there. I've had him there for hours and I can't get him to get anything. So we'll do it. We'll continue to do it. But if I can ask you in the future, please don't wait to come here. Coming here is not gonna calling the station, telling us it's happening again. The weather's broken because we're wasting.
They go through that stop sign. Somebody, your brother's house where they hit the gas. I know Art, my friend that usually comes, he has offered for you guys to sit in his driveway. His driveway is right after the bend where you start down the hill. He's offered for you to sit in the driveway.
I'll send one of my guys up that looks for better areas for us to sit. Like you said, I mean, the radar thing is killing us.
Yeah,
we can't
understand. Yeah, I understand
send it
the
past
issues.
it, but the possible to see it. Where do we that one?
Because you know what's going to happen? Some citizens are going to go out and start fighting with people.
And then they'll get in trouble, and then go those people drive away.
I'm
The
too old.
citizens will get cited. I won't let that happen.
I'm too old to fight.
I hear you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
I will say there's one gentleman on there, and this is the second time now. I work for the authority. I told my partner, I said, the next time I see that car pulling the truck across the road, because my niece walks up that road. The other morning, he come up through there, and it's supposed to be 25. Without a doubt in my mind, he was doing over 40. He come around the bend at the bottom of the hill, and I was standing, actually a lady was stuck on the side of the road. We had our work truck, township's work truck, trucks from the side of the road with the lights on. We're pushing this lady out of the ditch. He come up around the bend. I walk out in the middle of the road like this. I said, what? And just gone.
You know who it is?
I know exactly.
So why don't you tell the chief? Chief has said if you tell him who it is, he'll go talk to people.
Next time I talk to him, my niece walks up there. He would not appreciate because he has kids. people were flying on Tegakay and Grandview where he lives. Believe me, he'd be the first one complaining about it.
It sounds like it would be beneficial if the officers knew who it was.
I'll take him to his house. Hear that? We'd be putting a fender on
Because
the
really-
fire truck.
We all know that is what has to happen.
Yeah, that's a.
Neighbors in a non-violent way
Yeah.
need to confront other neighbors. That's more like the old days when I grew up.
Yeah.
Because their hands are tied, the radar's got their hands tied. So,
I can tell you, when I was growing up on the hill, there was a lot of people that went to my dad. Said, tell your son to slow down or he's getting
yes,
beat. And then, you know what? That sinks in a lot.
yes.
If you have your neighbors knocking on your door, hey, slow your ass down. That's what it takes. And I'm sorry, everybody's so afraid they want to do it on social media or text or whatever. Knocking on the door, I think it goes a long way. I'm sorry, I would probably disagree because there'd be some disputes, but it does got something.
Well, a combined effort.
Thanks, chief.
In this day and age, a combined effort would be best.
I've stood out in the street like this, telling people to slow down. Do that to the wrong person.
All right, anything else? Citizen participation? Once, twice? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Go ahead and stop it.